All right, good day, everyone. Excuse me about that. Today, our notes are going to be with special right triangles. So we have two type, 45, 45, 90, 30, 60, 90. All right, so the things to remember on the 45, 45 is that the legs are always x, so that means they're the same, and the hypotenuse is always x radical 2. On the 30, 60, 90, the 30 side, and don't forget they can flip it, wherever side has the 30 is always x radical 3. The 60 side is always x, and the hypotenuse is 2x. So let's look at the first number, number 1. It says the length of the diagonal of a square is 3 over 2. Find the length of one side of the square. So the first thing you might want to do is draw yourself a picture. Right, and we know that these are all 90 degrees. So if you were to split it, they now are 45. Okay, all right, and so we know that the diagonal was 8 radical 2. Okay, and so now if you go to your rule triangle, you can remember that the legs are x. Okay, so you can say, all right, if you want to get x, you can, what I tell students is to take the whatever answer you have, put it by the rule, and then if you want to get x by itself, you would divide the radical 2 out, and you can see x is 8. Okay, let's look at number 2. 2 says the length of one side of an equilateral triangle is 11. Find the length of the altitude. So I'm going to make this smaller so you guys can kind of see the ruled triangle. So first thing I'm going to do is draw a triangle. Act like it's equilateral. This is not drawn very good. And we know originally these are all, this is 60, 60, but we're going to split that one, so now these turn to 30. Okay? All right, and this is your 90 here. It says the length of one side of the equilateral triangle is 11. So all the sides are 11. Okay? All right? So this whole thing is 11, so keep that in mind. But you're splitting it in half, so the 60 sides are just x, all right? And if you wanted the hypotenuse, in this case, which is 11, and this length here is the 30, which is x radical 3. So the altitude is technically the height, okay? So what you would need to do is technically figure out what x is. Well, we know this entire length here is 11, so you could, and there's 2 of them, so you could do 11 divided by 2, which gives you 5.5. So we can say x is 5.5. Okay, so I'll make it a little bit bigger. Okay, and then since we know this is 5.5, the rule is x radical, oh, I put 30, that's supposed to be just x radical 3. Got a little carried away there. All right. So this one, all you technically have to do is take your x number and substitute it in that spot. So your answer will be 5.5 radical 3. So let's do number 3. All right, 3 says the perimeter of a square is 40 centimeters. So again, first thing I would do is draw a square. All right. So we know that all these have to be 10 each because the square, all the sides are the same. You want to go ahead and split it. Oh, there you go. Okay, and you're looking for this length here, which the rule is, if you go back up here, x radical 2. And these are your x. If you go back up here and look at the rule, x and x. So we already know that our x is 10, and the rule for the hypotenuse is x radical 2. So you can take this 10, substitute in that spot there, so 10 radical 2 is your answer. All right, let's look at 5. Okay, so this is a 30, 60, 90, because the 30 is here, so this has to be the 60. So what I always do is I just put the rule. So this is x, the hypotenuse is 2x, and this equals x radical 3. Okay, so it says you want to find fy, which is, I think this is y down here, you can't see very good, and this is L right here. Okay, so we want to find those two. So the first thing we need to do is figure out what our x is going to be. So YL is x, so we need to figure that out. So the first thing I would do is get solved for x. So we have 6 equals x radical 3. You divide the radical 3 out, so x equals 6 radical 3. Okay? Technically, you don't leave the radical on the bottom, so you would multiply both of these by radical 3. So you get 6 3 over 3, which is the same thing as about 3.46. Okay? Oh, make sure you can see it. There we go. Okay? So, this is the same thing as that if you convert it to a decimal. So now that is x, so technically that's YL, because YL is just x. So YL is going to be 6 radical 3 over 3, or 3.46 if you convert. Okay? I really would like you guys to try to leave it in radical, because that's a skill that you do need. So let's look for the next one, which is going to be FY. FY rule is 2x. Okay? So you're just going to take the 2 and times it with that. Which gives 2 times 6 is 12. So the answer will be 12 radical 3 over 3. And again, if you didn't want the fraction, it converts to about 4. Well, actually, we can reduce this. I didn't reduce this. Let's do that first. Because 3 goes into that 4 times. So that actually reduced to 4 radical 3, which is your final answer. Oh, I should have reduced this one, too. I didn't reduce it. Let me go back and do that. And so you can convert that to a decimal, which is about, I think, 6.92. And if you wanted to reduce that one, also, sorry, my bad, 3 goes into 6, 2, which is about 3.46. So you should always reduce your fractions as you can. I just forgot about that. All right, we just have one more example, then we're done. Okay. So this one's kind of weird because you have 2 triangles next to the x. So this is the 60 here, 30. So this is 90, then this has to be 45 here. So the first thing I do is I go through and put all the rules. So this equals x radical 2. 45s are x, okay? And 45 is x, and the same thing as 60. So x is perfectly fine here. And then on the 30 side is x radical 3. And the hypotenuse is 2x. So that's the first thing I want to do, is just label it with all the correct stuff. And then we're going to find SG, LU, UG, and SU. So the first one I'm going to do is figure out what just x is, because we have 8 radical 2 equals x radical 2. So I can just divide the radical 2 out to give me x equals 8. All right, so we know that that's actually going to be one of my answers, which is LU, and it's also going to be SU, because they're both just x. All right, so now if I wanted to find SG, the rule is 2x, so I will just take 2 times 8, which gives me 16. And then if I wanted to get the last one, which is UG, put UR. The rule is x radical 3. So all you would do is put the x in that spot, x radical 3. You can't simplify that anymore, so you're done. All right, make sure you guys get all this copy into handouts or in your journal. If you're doing the handout, you still need to glue this into your journal, all right? And then go ahead and start your classwork.